Welcome to Blackbriar Gaming. Today, we're going to look at the latest Heresy Thursday article. Games Workshop. Jeez, read the room. Guys, for months we've been bombarded with tank after tank. Yes, plastic, which is good, but the community out there is begging for some new plastic infantry kits. Despoilers, assault squads, destroyers, Recon Marines, breaches, really anything, just anything that walks on 2 feet and doesn't have treads. Games Workshop even made a joke about it a few weeks back, but, well, turns out there's something even more depressing than another plastic tank. That's right, retooled resin tanks, now with plastic sponsons. And you better believe we'll be expected to pay more for the pleasure. So this morning, I wake up to this. It is the Heresy Thursday, all tanks learn new tricks. And I think to myself, oh my goodness, is that a plastic aqueduct? Aqueduct even, if you will. And I think to myself, look, not ideal, not exactly what I was looking for, but better than nothing. You know, it's plastic aqueduct, it's another tank. We wanted some infantry, but still there's some cool options here. The resin kit is absolutely horrific to work with. I would enjoy putting some of these in my Iron Warrants army. And look, I think a lot of people had the same reaction as I did when they saw this as well. Indeed, I saw one person's post on Insta that was like, oh, I can't wait to put some of these plastic tanks in my army, only to be corrected in the comments and then get super disappointed. It was pretty entertaining, actually. But I started reading, much like you all did, the new plastic version of, still sounding great. Predators, what? Why are we talking about Predators and Sicarans and Typhons and Land Raiders and Spartans? Let's get to the Aqueduct, people. It says, we move on after all that great chat about their sponsons and how wonderful the tank sponsons are. It says, the Heresy team have been hard at work figuring out where else they can use the new weapon attachments. And the answer is, of course, more tanks. Gotta love more tanks. Some of your favorite resin hulls. Games Workshop, have you put one of these together? They're being retooled. Oh my goodness. To accommodate these shiny plastic sprues. I love the hype that they're trying to build around retooling a resin kit and putting a plastic sponson on it. It's just, what a sell. What a sales pitch. It's so good. So we move down. A bit wonky on the screen there. Sorry about that, team. And then we just start talking about the Aqueduct. All right. And then we start talking about the Falcon. Oh, geez. A lot of people wanted this. What are we talking about? The Falcon? The Falchion? Either way, they wanted this kit, this one right here, in plastic. So many people were desperate for it. Obviously, the Typhon got its plastic day, but the real big Space Marine Astartes, if you will, super heavy that people wanted, is what you're looking at right here. All of them. Yeah, in fact, here we go. What a great few looking pieces of tank. But in resin, nightmare. Ridiculously expensive, of course. But that aside, just a nightmare to deal with. So this is the one that people really wanted, I think, in plastic. And this article, besides disappointing us for so many reasons with the Aqueduct and that not coming in plastic, it's also now confirming that we will not see these big boys in plastic either. We move on, and the Mastodon, sure, that's fair. I don't think you could make that in plastic. It's so big. But now, with plastic sponsons. What I was really disappointed about was the Javelin. I really wanted a plastic Javelin. And this kit, this article, I should say, pretty much confirms that we will not be seeing a plastic Javelin anywhere in the near future. Not for a long time. If they're retooling the resin kit, it may never come. Or if it does, it's going to be at least 12 to 24 months, if not longer, down the track. And that for me was pretty devastating. I'm about to start my White Scars army. Would have loved to put some plastic Javelins in there. Not to be. Instead, this is what we're getting. That hurts. But look, this article, and then, woo, the Deimos? That's coming. What are they doing? They're retooling the Command Rhino piece, so you can stick it onto your plastic Rhino. So it's a resin upgrade kit. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Of course, that tank is utterly unusable in the game, but hey, it's a kit. It's a kit, and it looks pretty cool. I'll give them that. It looks kind of cool. Nothing like a satellite on a tank. But what does this article tell us? So there's some silver linings here. Look, it's a depressing moment, not the article we wanted for this Thursday, especially after all we got out of the Adepticon reveals was the Siege of Cathonia. It would have been nice to get something a bit meatier this week. We didn't. But this article does have a few silver linings to it and a few things that it does tell us. So if we jump over and we have a look at the Forge World tanks that we've got here. Firstly, the Aquila is gone, unless I'm missing it and just absolutely blind. Not even in the sold out, just taken off. I don't think there was a last chance to buy situation. They've taken it off and they're going to redo it, retooling it, as they said, chuck on some plastic sponsons. It will be fascinating to see how much it costs extra with the plastic sponsons. I'd love the answer to be not at all, nothing extra, maybe even a little cheaper. I don't know, throw us a treat, GW. I don't think that will be the case. I think because you're going to get so many options on those plastic sponson sprues that they'll justify adding another $20 on there. These are $1 that we're looking at here. But what we do get from this article, there's a few silver linings. All right, so the first one is that we kind of learn GW's plans moving forward. So if we look at the tanks that are remaining here and not being taken away and not in the article, the main one is the different Sakaran models. So we've got the Omega Tank Destroyer, we've got the Punisher Assault Tank, and the Arcus Strike Tank. I think that's all. There's just 3, right? Yep, that looks about right. So if they're still up here, and they're not getting sponsons, added on and retooled as the article. The article didn't mention them, right? And I feel like if these guys were going to get retooled and some plastic sponsons, the article would have talked about it. So by not talking about it, and by them still being up on Forge World's site, it gives a bit of a hint of what's coming in the future. Now, I don't think we will see a plastic kit for each of these tanks. We might see one of two things. Either their sponsons come out in separate plastic kits, or the Sakaran kit as it exists now gets repackaged with new plastic sponsons for each of these. But putting out 4 separate products seems pretty intense, and the turret weapons, they're just too big to fit 3 of them into a single plastic kit, I would dare say. So either Games Workshop is going to do these turrets in plastic, and they're going to release another 3 tank boxes. I find that quite unlikely. It's a lot of different products, and it's pretty messy. I think what is more likely is that we'll actually see these turrets specifically come out separately in resin, maybe retooled, what a treat, and that they will then become available to stick onto the top of your plastic Sakarans, which you can buy separately, or in a bit of a package. They might throw it together just to throw you a bone. But I think that's what we're going to see, because they're not being retooled, they're not getting plastic sponsons. I think we will see these whole resin Sakaran variants disappear from the Forge World website and be replaced with just the turrets that you can buy separately, which I actually really like. I think that would be a great choice if they went down that way. GW, please do. That way you can buy one plastic Sakaran, buy the 3 different turrets, which will be hopefully a lot cheaper than $200, and then can mix and match them depending on the game you're playing, because each of these tanks is great. All 3 of the Sakaran variants are very playable. So hopefully that's the direction they're going down. It's a bit of a hint that we've got from the article today that might be the way they're going. The other one was and this is less likely, it's the Saber. So we look down here at the Saber. Let's jump into it. That doesn't have traditional sponsons like you would see on your Predators and your Land Raiders and whatnot. It's got its own little unique sponsons here. I've never put one of these together or played around with it, so I don't know exactly what it looks like. You have the choice to do it or not do it, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think we can really say what will happen with the Saber. As it is a bit of a small kit, I'd love to see this come out in plastic. Not mentioned in the article, so they're not looking to at least smack the plastic sponsons onto this, and it wouldn't really make sense. But we'll see. We'll wait and see. They're going to do something with it. Either it's going to stay in resin as it was, with the sponson that you see here, or hopefully it comes out in plastic. There can't be too many more tanks to bring out in plastic. We're getting certainly near the end, the Saber being one of the last ones, and of course the Sakaran variants that we're looking at just before. So wait and see what they do with the Saber. The article doesn't quite give it away what their options are there, just really gives us an idea of what they're going to do with the Sakarans. Now, the other silver lining piece here is the weapon options. So if we jump back into the article, it does tell us, down near the Javelin, I dare say, so the Javelin and Mastodon will soon receive new rules and army list entries to accommodate the new options they are to receive. So Trip, Heavy Bolter Javelin that you can see here, that's kind of nice. The heavy bolter is not the best weapon in the world, but that's a bunch of firepower you can put out with that bad boy, hopefully, and almost definitely for a cheaper points cost than the las cannon kind of multi-melter variant, which will be nice, or las cannon heavy bolter variant, if you will. So a cheaper jav putting out a bunch of anti-infantry shots, I don't hate that. That's actually quite nice. And of course, you've got other sponson options as well. I would get really excited about a Javelin with a heavy bolter and a couple of Volkite Culverins. That would be nice. So we'll see what those new rules look like. But in the end, it'll be a new Javelin from a rules perspective. I'm sure the points and the stats will stay the same. It'll just be the weapon options that we see being mixed up there, which is nice. More options is always great, but not exactly something to get overly excited about. But silver linings, we're looking for silver linings, people. The other one, and I guess, this is the good piece here, plastic sponsons, they're not a bad thing, right? As disappointing as this reveal is on a Thursday, plastic sponson weapons are actually kind of nice. Nice to work with, nice to maintain. The Javelins are famous, and really any resin las cannon is famous for just getting a bit droopy, getting a bit limp, and no one likes a limp las cannon. So a little bit of silver lining here is that you will no longer have to worry about those limp las cannons on your javs or your other tanks because the plastic will take care of that. So it's something. People, we're looking for something here. And the last one, and the last big silver lining here is that the tanks have to be coming to an end. If this is the kind of article they're putting out at this stage, they must be running out of tank things to talk about. So we can only hope that next Thursday, maybe the Thursday after, we're going to see some plastic infantry. That is my guess. That is my prediction. That is my hope. We've had a couple of weeks now, a few weeks. The resin dreadnought torsos are another. Oh my goodness. Of just kind of nothing articles. And I know they can't do a big reveal, big exciting thing every Thursday, but it's definitely coming to that point where in the next couple of weeks, we have to see something juicy. They know we're all begging for plastic infantry. So that's what I think is coming. That last little silver lining piece is that I think we will see some plastic infantry coming soon because of where this article is taking us and the very mediocre direction it's sending us down. And that's it. That brings us to the end of our Heresy Chats for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments how excited you are for plastic sponsons on resin tanks. If you think I'm being a little unfair and there's this is an exciting move by GW, please feel free to correct me down in the comments. But importantly, make sure to keep rolling those dice and just keeping the flame alight for that hype for Heresy.